Have you ever seen 200,000 construction workers and thousands of cranes working at the same time, 24 hours a day? This is the scene at Xiong'an New Area, which was established on April 1st, 2017 by General Secretary Xi Jinping as a new area of national significance after the Shenzhen Special Economic Zone and the Pudong New District in Shanghai, and was officially touted as a millennium plan and a national event. Officials say they are spending 30 trillion RMB to build a city of the future to decentralize universities, hospitals, and central enterprises from Beijing's non-capital functions, was the goal of becoming China's vice capital. The city will have a starting area of 100 square kilometers, a medium-term development area of 200 square kilometers, and a long-term control area of 2,000 square kilometers. Now, more than 5 years have passed. Has this project, which carries Xi Jinping's Millennium Plan, become a supercity as he wished? On September 20th, at a press conference held by the Development and Reform Commission of the CCP, Cao Yuanmeng, deputy director of the commission, introduced the Xiong'an New Area, saying that from 2021 onwards, the relevant non-capital functions will be decentralized to the Xiong'an New Area in phases, focusing on universities, hospitals, and headquarters of central enterprises belonging to the ministries in Beijing. Cao Yuanmeng also said that after more than 5 years of planning and construction since its establishment in 2017, the Xiong'an New Area has advanced more than 100 construction projects, with an accumulated investment of more than 400 billion RMB. The labor force involved in the construction of the new area has been steadily maintained at more than 100,000 people, with about 200,000 builders in construction at the peak. But according to certain sources, no one in Beijing's universities and enterprises are willing to move to Xiong'an at all. The authorities are now claiming that Xiong'an New Area is being relocated and built faster because of the need to build a positive image of Xi Jinping and for political face for the 20th Congress. Site visitors have uploaded videos showing that although many buildings have been built in the new Xiong'an area, a lot of supporting facilities have not been completed and no one has moved in, so a large number of houses are idle, like a ghost city. Let's take a look at the Xiong'an High-Speed Rail Station, the largest in Asia, which costed 30 billion RMB to build. This station has a total construction area of 475,200 square meters, the size of 66 soccer fields, equivalent to 6 Beijing stations, with 13 platforms and 23 lines. The Xiong'an station has been operational since the end of 2020, but according to a video posted by a visitor, very few people are seen in the station. Due to the extremely low passenger flow, during the months of June and July, there was only one train reserved to and from Beijing West Station every day. It is clear that not many Beijing people travel here. Does the construction of the Xiong'an New Area bring something good for the area? The locals had their houses demolished and were relocated, but each family had been given several sets of well-decorated houses. While the whole country envied them, only the people involved know the bitterness of the situation. For local business owners, the demolition of their factories led to a shutdown and the closure of their companies. Although they can get some compensation temporarily, the price paid is the loss of the enterprise that can bring long-term income. For ordinary people, although they have several properties in hand, since they do not have full property rights and the local real estate policy does not allow housing transactions, the properties are unable to be sold. The rental market is also very slow because there are very few companies that move in, except for those involved in infrastructure. These relocated households do not have jobs and lack source of income, yet have to put up with prices far higher than surrounding areas. The so-called finely decorated resettlement houses are either leaking here or broken there. They are simply tofu drag projects. In fact, news of the Xiong'an project falling apart has been circulating in recent years. When the authorities first announced the establishment of Xiong'an New Area on April 1st, 2017, many people thought it was an April Fool's joke. People couldn't believe that the central government would place an area with such high status in a sparsely populated and heavily polluted area in the middle of nowhere. This state-level positioning is beyond what people could predict. After everyone realized, people from all over the country flocked to the area, and overnight, local property prices soared from 4,000 RMB per square meter to 40,000, catching up with first-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai. But the very next day, several mainland media reported that all properties transfers had been frozen in all 3 counties of Xiong'an New Area. In Anxin County, many housing agencies have been sealed by officials. There was even a freeze on account processing. However, a large number of homebuyers ignored the information on the suspension of the sale of commercial properties and the freezing of accounts, and rushed to Xiong'an for a visit, even upset that they might be late. But after the establishment of the new Xiong'an area, in addition to triggering a round of housing speculations, it seems to have quickly fallen silent. Large-scale urban construction did not start, triggering suspicions. On July 27, 2018, the first major transportation project in the Xiong'an New Area, the Beijing-Xiong'an Intercity Railway, officially began construction, marking the start of major infrastructure construction in the Xiong'an New Area. And on August 29th, the construction of the Xiong'an High-Speed Rail Station was launched. However, the progress of urban construction has been slow. The political reason for the slow construction of the Xiong'an New Area is that, in the past decade, it has been relatively repressive. Yin Zhi, an expert in planning and design of Xiong'an and a professor at the School of Architecture of Tsinghua University, said it does not encourage the exploration and innovation of institutional mechanisms and the government to take responsibility. So it's not the best time for the construction in Xiong'an New Area. This is the reason why nearly 2 years have passed yet nothing has been done, because many things have not been figured out yet, Yinzhi said. In 2019, the new area of Xiong'an entered its 3rd year, and despite frequent changes in leadership, still has not made much improvement. At this time, news of the project's collapse started circulating. On January 16, 2019, Xi Jinping seemed to express his dissatisfaction during a visit to Xiong'an New Area in Hebei, saying that Xiong'an has barely moved a single brick or tile in the past 2 years. On April 1, 2020, a number of pictures released by the Chinese official media China News Agency reported that the construction of the main structure of the Xiong'an New Area site has not yet been completed, and there is still a large wasteland around it. Reuters reported on August 31, 2020, that in the eyes of Mr. Zhang, a native of Xiong County, 3 years have passed since the State Council decided to establish the Xiong'an New Area in Hebei on April 1, 2017. And as far as the eye can see, apart from the promotional slogans hanging everywhere on the streets, Xiong County does not seem to have changed much. According to Xinhua, not until March 2021 did Xiong'an New Area enter a large-scale development and construction stage, with more than 100,000 builders working on the construction, and more than 120 major projects advancing simultaneously. That's what we see here in the video. However, in August last year, the CCP issued an official regulation that downgraded Xiong'an from a direct administrated municipality under the central government to a new district under Hebei province, essentially a downgrade of 3 levels. Some commentators believe that top management has simply dumped the project to the local government as a broken project, probably because China's economy is in trouble and can't take large-scale capital investment. Now, the authorities are mentioning Xiong'an again at the time of the 20th National Congress just for political needs. Although the authorities have already invested heavily in infrastructure development, the Xiong'an New Area's location is inherently flawed and may be doomed for failure. Water expert Wang Weiluo wrote in an article on the wrong location for Xiong'an, focusing on the geography of Xiong'an. He said that the location of the Xiong'an New Area was a decision without common sense. This is also the fundamental reason for the slow development of the area and the impossibility for future development. From the map, Xiong'an New Area is located in the hinterland of the entire Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region, 130 kilometers from Beijing and Tianjin, and 155 kilometers from Shijiazhuang, the capital of Hebei. It's also surrounded by Baiyangdian, the largest lake in Hebei. This may also be one of the reasons why the authorities chose this location. However, Wang Weiluo said Baiyangdian is the lowest lying area in the North China Plain, geologically known as the North China Depression, and there are many fracture zones. Flood control here is a huge issue, and the existing water conservancy flood control capacity is low. Once a flood occurs, the huge amount of investment is essentially wasted. Moreover, the environmental pollution in Xiong'an New Area is more serious than the general public knows. Since the authorities built thousands of reservoirs in Hebei in the last century, there are no natural rivers flowing in the Haihe River basin. Baiyangdian has lost its ability to survive and purify naturally, and water pollution is very serious. Additionally, in the 1970s, Baoding City built the Tang River Sewage Reservoir located in the southwest of Anxing County, with the end of the reservoir only 2.5 kilometers away from Baiyangdian, and the surrounding groundwater was seriously polluted. Although the CCP initiated the Tang River Sewage Reservoir Pollution Control and Ecological Restoration Phase 1 project, the effectiveness of the treatment was not obvious until last year, when internal documents from the Hebei authorities showed that the river in the new area was full of garbage, which directly affected the river's flood control functions. In addition, there are comments that when the Xiong'an New Area was first planned, the benchmark was the Shenzhen Special Economic Zone. But the Shenzhen 30 years ago was a market economy test ground under a planned economy by Deng Xiaoping. The Xiong'an New Area is a planned economy test ground under a market economy by Xi Jinping, which is impossible under the current international and domestic situation. First of all, Shenzhen is a coastal city in the south, especially close to the international metropolis of Hong Kong, with unique regional conditions. Coupled with the unique political and economic policies at that time and the vitality of the private economy, its success was assured. The Xiong'an New Area, on the other hand, faces the pressure of Beijing, Tianjin, and Shijiazhuang and does not have a regional economic advantage. In Hebei province, the economic strength is weak and the people do not have a good tradition of entrepreneurship, so there is almost no vitality in the private economy. Although the government has forcibly relocated several enterprises to Xiong'an, it has failed to attract dynamic private enterprises with growth potential, making it difficult to attract the most critical talents for economic development. The Xiong'an New Area may end up as a sacrificial lamb for the CCP's policies. Of course, the construction of new areas always requires a longer period of time and a large investment of political and economic resources to see some results. However, the Xiong'an New Area is like a bottomless pit. With trillions of dollars invested, it is indeed an unknown whether it will end up as a superb new city or a mega-delayed project. Perhaps, as the netizens commented, the so-called millennium plan might just mean it'll be 1,000 years before a new